Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video we're going to start collecting Age of Sigmar, but today's video is going to be a little bit different. We're going to talk about an army you can build with 2 box sets. In this video we're going to take a look at the Sylvaneth, and we're going to look at an army you can build up using both the Vanguard box set and the soon to be released Regiment of Renown box set. Combine them and get yourself 1,000 points of Sylvaneth on the table nice and quickly. So with that said, in this video we're going to talk about the contents of both box sets before showing you a little sample army list using only those 2 box sets to build an army of the Sylvaneth. With all of that said, let's get cracking on. Let's talk about what's in this box, and we start with the Branch Witch. This is a Sylvaneth foot hero wizard. She's the dryad looking creature with a little bug on her shoulder on the side, down the front. She has a couple of attacks with her Greenwood Sire, a 2-inch range, 3/3, round 1, damage 1, and a couple of extra attacks coming out of the snapping mandibles of her little bitter grub. Now, she's got her own War Scroll spell called Unleash Spites. She's a 1-cast and 1 unbind wizard. Unleash Spites effectively just does a nice little bit of mortal wound damage around her. And the Fury of the Forest, you can add 1 to hit and wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by this unit while it's wholly within 9 inch of overgrown terrain features or awakened wildwoods. Now, alongside her, you're going to get a battle line unit, which is going to be your Tree Revenants. These are a fantastic unit on the tabletop. Tree Revenants, 2 wounds each and a 5-up save, force to hit, 3s to wound, rend 1 and damage 1 or damage 2 if you got that Protector Glaive on the unit champion. Standard Bearers are fun, they're going to give you 6-inch pile-in, but the Musician's really where it's at. It allows you to teleport and move every turn, ending 9 inch away from enemy units. This just makes them such a powerful unit. They're not needing to use the trees like a bunch of the other Sylvaneth units, and just are so versatile on the table. They've also got the cool Martial Memories rule, where once per battle round the unit can receive all that attack or all-out defense without the command being issued and without a command point being spent, so pretty cool there as well. Now joining them is another unit that isn't battle line but can become battle line in particular subfactions, and that's the Kurnoth Hunters. Kurnoth Hunters come in 3 different variations. You can either have the Kurnoth Hunters with Great Bows, which are the cheapest option. The Great Bows are going to put out 2 attacks at 4s and 3s at round 1 damage 2 at a 30-inch range with those bows, and a few attacks in melee as well. Now, we've then got the other 2 combat options. Great Swords are going to provide us with a little bit of mortal wound damage. Meanwhile, the Scythes are just going to provide us with some nice straight-up rend and damage. So you've got the mortal wounds, but you've got the rend on the side. It's really an option between those 2. Do you want mortal wound or rend? And then you've obviously got the bows, which provide something entirely different. Now, the other kit we get in here is a Tree Lord kit, and this can be built as either a Tree Lord Ancient, or Spirit of Durthu. The Tree Lord is just a generic non-hero monster. It's decent. It's got a cool monstrous rampage specific for all the Tree Lords, where it can make someone always strikes last. The Tree Lord Ancient is a wizard, 1-cast and 1 unbind. Also has its Doom Tendril staff, which is 2 attacks, hitting on 2s, wounding on 3s, rend 1, damage 3 at an 18-inch range. So a nice little bit of shooting. This thing can, take off and snipe out little characters that are left alone, though obviously at the moment that's not always as easy said and done. Now, it's got its own spell as well, Awakening the Wood, where you can do some mortal wounds to units near trees, and once per battle in your hero phase, you can actually set up a brand new Awakened Wildwood on the table as well. The Spirit of Durthu is the last option you can build out of that kit, and it is a dedicated combat monster. Spirit of Durthus have a really high damage, so the Guardian Sword has 3 attacks, 3 3s, rend 2, and damage 6 at its top bracket. And so we then have the Regiment of Renown box set, which is called Elthwyn's Thorns. This contains an Arch Revenant and 5 Gossamer Archers. Now, this box set isn't currently available, will be out very soon. Now, first of all, we get the character, which is going to provide us with another character option in the Arch Revenant, and actually goes nicely with some of the units inside the Vanguard set. First of all, we have the Call to Battle ability, where we add 1 to the attacks characteristic of melee weapons used by a Sylvaneth unit for a command point. It's a command ability we have access to. But our cool ability is Champion of Kurnoth, where we add 1 to wound rolls for Kurnoth Hunters that are wholly within 12 inch of any models with this ability. So it's actually buffing a unit that comes inside the other box, which is really cool. Other than that, he's got his Crescent Shield, so he's got a nice little bit of extra defense in there. And, 6 wounds, 4+ save there. If he's choosing to adopt that defensive stance with his shield, he'll have a ward save of 4+ as well, but he also adds 1 to the attacks characteristic of the unit's Revenant's Glade until the end of the phase, which is pretty cool. Now, we've then got joining him a unit of Gossamer archers. These are a really cool, fast-moving shooting unit available to the Sylvaneth. Gossamer archers have 2 wounds each, a 5+ save. They've got 2 attacks, 3 threes, no rend damage, 1 with those bows. Doesn't sound like much, but the big thing is they're going to have their larval shafts, where if the unmodified hit roll is a 6, they do D3 mortal wounds and the attack sequence ends. So some nice ranged mortal wounds. Forest Fighters means they've got some cool abilities with cohesion. They can be 2 inch away from at least one other model in their unit. And the Zephyr Sprites as well, after this unit received the Unleash Hell command and all of its shooting attacks have been resolved, if the unit is within 3 inches of enemy units, you can roll the dice. On 2+, you can retreat. So a nice, cool little ability for them to sort of never get tied down, hopefully in combat. And so here we have our sample armor list. Now, we're going to go with the Heartwood Glade, and the reason we're doing this is because we do only get one battle line unit inside these 2 box sets, which is the Tree Revenant. So we have a couple of different options on how we can make units battle line. Kurnoth Hunters is why we've gone with Heartwood, but there are ways you can also make the Tree Lord, the regular Tree Lord, a battle line unit as well, which could be another option you look down a path for as well. Now, the grand strategy we've gone takes what's theirs. This is just trying to have more units of ours in our opponent's territory. We've got a lot of fast-moving units. We've got a lot of teleports in the army. I feel this should be an easy grand strategy to get. And then we are going to have the Arch Revenant, who is going to be our general. Now, first of all, we're going to go with the command trait, which is going to be War Singer. If the general's on the battlefield at the start of your movement phase, you add 3 inch. The move characteristic of friendly Sylvaneth units that start the move wholly within 12 inches of this general until that phase. It's a really cool ability. It gives us some utility. It means we don't always need to be using Forest, remembering not only one unit can use the Forest. Then we have those Tree Revs who can move. It does open up a lot of options for movement on the table for your Sylvaneth. It sounds like it's overkill, but your army's already hyper mobile, so giving you some abilities that add to that mobility only, make it even better. And artifact-wise, he's going to have the Crown of Fell Boughs. At the start of the combat phase, you pick an enemy unit within 6 inches of the bearer, and you add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made by friendly Sylvaneth units that target a unit in that phase. This allows him to pair with other units in our force as well, particularly like this when we're looking at, maybe the Tree Lord Ancient needing to get in combat himself, the Tree Revenants, even the Gossamer Archers having to go in there. Obviously, he's already providing that buff to the Kurnoths, but it is something to consider. Now, we then have the aspect of the champion, which is current season thing. This makes him count as 10 models on objective. Pretty cool for someone who can fly. It's pretty fast moving. Tree Lord Ancient joins him. We've got Law of the Deepwood Tree Song, which is just going to enable us to do some mortal wounds around the table with his generic spell, along with Tree Song, which is going to be fun to use. This is going to allow us to add some extra rend to our Sylvaneth units as well, get some extra damage out. Battle line wise, those 5 Tree Revenants as mentioned, and 3 Kurnoth Hunters with great bows. Unless you want to have some points spared over, you drop the Tree Lord Ancient down to the regular Tree Lord, and you can grab one of the other 2 units in the army. But I think just taking the great bows in here gives you a good bit of shooting. Those Tree Revenants, the Arch Revenant, the Tree Lord Ancient, and the Steel Kurnoth in combat would be plenty fine for a 1,000-point army. And then rounding out the force of the 5 Gossamer Archers. We haven't used the Branch Witch in this, and that's particularly why I've gone for the Tree Lord Ancient in this force, giving us a Wizard where we've dropped the other one out. If you wanted to maybe go with the regular Tree Lord, you certainly bring in that Branch Witch instead. Upgrade your Kurnoth Hunters to a combat unit, and it will pretty much do some similar things for you there as well. Other than that, everything's wrapped up in a battle regiment, so it's a drop force. 1,000 points on the nose, so no triumph, but 55 wounds as well. Pretty solid, a little Sylvaneth force with just 2 box sets being used. And so that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and also drop a comment down below letting us know what you thought of the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our little community here at Sinful Gaming, we have a Discord server which is linked down in the video's description. Also linked down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel, either by Patreon or YouTube members, or by grabbing yourself some channel merch from our Teespring or Ko-fi stores. As a special thank you to all our Patreon and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out for their amazing support. So thank you to our Patreons, Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lowell, Outer Shot First, Andrew Bowen, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallows, Red Martin, Iron Grinch, Nicholas Conomos, Colorblind Magic, Daniel Etherington, and Andy C. And a special thank you to our YouTube members, Green Roots Gaming, Ronya, Lockloric, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, John Castle, Davis Weird, James South, James Tillman, and Dylan Areno. Lastly, a special thank you to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see here on the channel. Thank you for everything. And also a massive thank you to all our moderators on our Discord server and everyone that comes and helps film the battle reports on the channel. Thank you all once again. Stay safe, everyone. Stay well. And most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.